Hello everybody, welcome back to Thailand, northern Thailand to be specific. We're back on the road. I've got Zelda, we're going on a road trip. We've got some beautiful destinations, including the one right behind me, all coming up, not just in this particular video, the first episode, but in this entire series where we go on a journey of expedition up into the provinces of Chiang Rai, Mae Hong Son, and up here in Chiang Mai. Hopefully most of the places that I'll be visiting will be places we've never been to before, and I just thought, you know, let's get back on the road. We had such a great time when we came up to this part of the world in the rainy season when everything was flooding and we stayed in that beautiful tree house. Well, that trip has inspired this road trip, and the best part is, you're all invited. Just like any good road trip, we need a beginning point, and for us this week, it was back here in Bangkok at my condo. Zelda, my little Honda 125, had been patiently waiting for this time to come around. And it was finally time to leave the big city and start heading north to the mountains. When I bought Zelda, I really thought I would drive her way more than I actually do here in Bangkok. But things are about to change, so let's get out of the big city and start heading north. I am taking the scenic route, but at least the first 5-6 hours was just a highway, getting further away from the city. And as the sun started to go down, I pulled into a town. I made it quite far, all the way to Kamphaeng Phet. Okay, pretty successful full day's drive from Bangkok. I made it to the outskirts of Kamphaeng Phet. I could have pushed for another hour and made it to Tak just as it was gonna get dark, because we've got about another hour of light and it's about an hour to Tak. But this'll do. And me and Zelda made it here in good time. Got a little guest house on the side of the road type thing, 350 baht, very cheap, very affordable. All I need to do really is take a shower and rest, and we'll get up early and continue on to Chiang Mai tomorrow. So far so good. It's great to be back on the road. Even though we've just been on the boring highway, listening to the music, watching the countryside go by, brings back great memories. It's a very small little town, right on the highway. Very convenient. It's got a 7-Eleven, fantastic. It's got some street food all along this little section here. Fried chicken, som tam, Isan sausage, all the good stuff. And tomorrow morning we can get straight back on the highway and carry on as if nothing happened. Sam Mu Ping. ใช่ I earn some ไข่ 10 บาทเหรอ โอเค Sam ครับ I'll get Sam it's really, really tempting and very easy just to grab a few cold cans of beer. That's usually my default after a long day's drive. But I'm trying to be a good boy, trying to eat healthy and keep off that fat that I just spent 3 months losing. If you don't know, I just took 3 months off and I lost 10.5 kilograms. So I don't want to put it all back on this motorbike trip by drinking beers and eating shit, which is normally what I do, to be honest, when I'm on the road. Lots of Thai food, lots of beer, and whatever I can grab. So luckily, it's protein heavy, and we'll get a sugar-free pop instead. Blood orange, 0 sugar. Happy days. Okay, it's time to leave, it's time to carry on our journey. I've made a little bit of a change of plan, actually. So, basically, I was in Chiang Mai quite recently, just about a week ago, on my little family holiday. And we spent one night in the old town. And, you know, we had a potter about, went to the night bazaar and all the rest of it. And, look, Chiang Mai, it's in the middle of high season. And it was absolutely packed. So what I was thinking instead, because my plan originally was just to drive all the way to Chiang Mai, stay in the old town. Thank you, Kamphaeng Phet. Have a beer or two. Actually, I'm off the beers on this trip. Trying my best not to fall into old habits. But yeah, my plan was go to the old town, see some friends, hang out, and then start making our way up north from there the day after tomorrow. But because I've just been to Chiang Mai, because it's really busy, and I've been there so many times on this channel, I thought, let me see if I can find somewhere else, somewhere that I've never been, somewhere random, but that somewhere looks beautiful. You know, somewhere between here and Chiang Mai. And just before you get into Chiang Mai, as you come over the mountains of Kamphaeng province, the province just before Chiang Mai that is, there's a national park. I've never been to this national park. There's waterfalls, there's a trek, there's a hike, there's some camping. So I think we're going to do that instead. But yeah, I've still got 4 hours on the highway to get to the national park first. But I think it should be a good idea, a good plan. So yeah, it was going to be another full day's drive, and for the first 4 or 5 hours, I'd just be on the highway, going 90 kilometers an hour, relatively flat and straight up towards Chiang Mai province. Later in the afternoon, we finally hit the twisty turns of Chiang Mai mountains, and we started making our way up and around to the Khun Tan National Park itself. And once I hit these roads, this is when I really started to enjoy myself. Okay, we're nearly at the national park, enjoying this lovely mountain country road. These guys have just come to say hello, haven't you?
สวัสดีค่ะ สบายไหม อ้าวจริงเหรอ
Yeah, the last 60 minutes heading up towards the national park entrance was beautiful. These rural roads in Thailand, guys, especially in the north, they're just something else. And at this time of year, when the sun's out and it's not boiling hot, life's good. Life's brilliant on the back of Zelda in northern Thailand, that's for sure. And several hours after we left Kamphaeng Phet, it was late afternoon, and we had made it all the way up through the central and northern highlands to the entrance of Khun Tan National Park. It was a few hundred baht entrance, a little bit extra for the bike, and there was a lady at the information center who showed me that they have camping sites available here, and it was only going to cost about 300 baht to rent a tent, sleeping bag, and bedding. However, it looked a bit hot, so I had a look back in the brochure and I saw that they had cabins for rent for as little as 500 baht a night. I grabbed the keys next to this giant, scary looking spider. In fact, they had this huge box with all the bugs that live in this national park, and I was hoping that the big ones weren't going to be in my room, but spoiler alert, they will be. And so yeah, I drove Zelda the last little bit up to my cabin where I was going to check in, and we were going to do something really fun and active before we settle down for the evening here at the beautiful national park, about an hour outside of Chiang Mai city itself. Quick message from the sponsor of my channel, Squarespace. If you need a website in 2025, then Squarespace is the place to go. Long gone are the days of having to find a website developer or a designer. You can actually just build a website really easily on your own on Squarespace, especially thanks to their brand new AI-led feature, Design Intelligence. As you can see behind me, all you have to do is tell the AI what your website should look like, who it's for, and what you're trying to do with it. This is my website, paddydoyle.info, and I built it all on Squarespace. I recently updated my website with a blog post, and it was so easy to just write and upload pictures. The whole thing took me about 15 minutes to put it all together, and I think it looks great. On desktop, the blog post looked amazing, but on my phone, I noticed there was a layout issue, but it was really easy to fix thanks to Squarespace's amazing app, which is really easy to use, and I was just able to drag and move things around so that it looked perfect, not only on desktop, but on people's phones as well. There's never been a better time to start building your own website using Squarespace today, especially if you use the link in my description, you'll get 10% off your first website or domain. So far, so good. I'm definitely enjoying this decision more than going all the way to Chiang Mai and just having a standard experience in Chiang Mai. You know, I used to live in Chiang Mai for years, and I'd never came to this national park. And yeah, I think the camping would have been cool, but it was just very exposed in that grassy parking area basically, and the tent would be boiling hot, and it wouldn't get cool until this afternoon maybe. And there was a guy with a leaf blower making an absolute racket, and I just thought, no, it's not the best situation. And for 500 baht we get our own little wooden cabin. Yes, it's a bit rustic and a bit of a, you know, scene from a horror movie or something, especially in the toilets. But it's fine. The thing that swayed me more than the camping, other than the fact that the camping looked a bit exposed and hot, is here we get a shower and we get a towel. They didn't have towels for rent, and I didn't pack a towel, and I think I'm going to need a shower soon, because one of the cool things to do in this national park is visit a waterfall and go to hike to the top of the tallest mountain. It's about a 5-kilometer hike, so 10 kilometers there and back. It's definitely going to be sweaty. But look, we are on a bit of a time constraint, because if I'm going to make it up to the top of that mountain, I need to do two things. One, I need to quickly change. Number two, I need to go eat, because I'm not eating anything today. And it's been a long drive, so there is a little restaurant. We'll fuel up. I'll also buy another dish to take out, because there is no food after 4:30. Yummy! Okie dokie, so I'm learning about this national park. It's beautiful, by the way, absolutely gorgeous, and I've just parked Zelda. There's a little car park right at the very top of the national park at the beginning of the nature trail. So if you did want to come and do this hike, guys, especially from Chiang Mai, and you've got a rental car or you want to get a taxi, you could get a taxi all the way to this national park. We're about 90 minutes away from Chiang Mai Old Town, and 120 baht to get in. Well, less if you don't have a motorbike, and you don't have to stay here. You could just drive up, park up, pay the national park, and then hike up to the summit that I'm going to do now. And look, here's the start of the nature trail. Lots of stairs. Nobody said anything about stairs. I have to say, this is a beautiful nature trail. And other than when you're going up the steps, which is quite sweaty, when you're on these flat sections through the forest, it's actually quite cool. There's a cool breeze. I think we're around about 2,000 meters, or making our way up to. So the air's a lot cooler. It's not that muggy, humid, hot air further down. Tree seems to have collapsed down, dragging the forest with it. I mean, look at this. Simple, right? And these beautiful birds and bugs. Haven't seen a big tarantula yet. Okie dokie, we made it to the top. Just in time, because the sun's only got about half an hour left. We are so lucky. There was been about 25 people coming down. And I thought, oh, I wonder how many people are going to be at the summit. And there's nobody here. The summit is only 1,373 meters. So I was a bit exaggerating, I think, earlier. I think I might have said it was 2,000 meters. Nowhere near. And it took exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes. And that's with a little bit of stopping and filming. So quite good going for 5 kilometers. I think we should fly down. And look, there's a really nice reveal. There's a beautiful Thai flag. There's this cool little stone staircase. I think that's man-made. But it leads up there and you get this beautiful Thai flag flapping in the afternoon wind. And it's just gorgeous. And then there is a viewpoint here. You can look to the left and look at Lamphun. You can look to the right down into Lampang. I mean, just check this out. We are getting incredible views of this national park and down into the valleys. There's a river, there are some ridges, distant villages. Lovely hike, got 5k in, got 5k down. Great for exercise, great for my lungs, fresh air. I hope you're enjoying life back on the road. It's great to be back in Thailand. You just forget how many things there are to discover. You know, I've been to every province. I've seen it all, apparently, but I haven't. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. And this national park, wasn't even planning on coming here until this morning. And look how beautiful it is. Final day of the drive up to Chiang Dao, and oh, there is a sea of clouds. Have a look. At the start of the nature trail where I just parked Zelda, there's a car park, but there's also this little viewpoint here which is quite nice, and I just thought instead of hiking up the 3-hour return hike to the viewpoint again to look at the sea of clouds, I would come and just drive up here and see at sunrise if there was a sea of clouds. And there is. The sea of clouds basically is a term for when low-lying fog or cloud forms in the valleys above the towns. So that town down there, if you were staying down there, it would just look like a really cold and foggy morning. But actually from up here on the mountains we can see that it's just in the valley. The sky's clear. There was lots of stars out last night, which was really beautiful. And I'm glad I didn't bother doing that early morning hike for sunrise, because it's nice, but it's not as epic as I thought it would be. And so I'm just going to get up and go and finish our road trip. There is Chiang Mai between us and the finish point, which is Chiang Dao. So I might pop into Chiang Mai, maybe get some lunch, maybe get some noodles, maybe get some coffee, and see if there's one more place I can take you before we arrive at our final destination, which is the beautiful Chiang Dao, which is basically going to be the start and end point for my northern road trip, bar driving up there and driving home. So after that beautiful sunrise, I jumped back on Zelda and made my way down the cool, brisk mountain air into the valleys of Chiang Mai below. And as I descended into the valley, I met the mist of the clouds in person, up and close, as the mist and the clouds were right in front of me. Driving in northern Thailand in the cool December air with the morning light is one of the highlights of traveling Thailand. So if you do come to Thailand in December or the cooler months of the winter, rent a motorbike, get into the countryside. It really is stunning. And not far from here, on the way into Chiang Mai, there was a place I wanted to stop and revisit because it's just so beautiful. I couldn't pass up the opportunity just to quickly stop and visit this beautiful, beautiful white bridge here in the province of Lamphun. It is absolutely gorgeous. I hope we will get lucky and a train from Chiang Mai comes through. But in the meantime, we can just admire the views. There's that gorgeous pagoda on another bridge. I think that's actually a dam. And the white bridge itself, absolutely stunning. Contrasts so nicely with these green mountains, especially in this beautiful morning light. Over the, I think it's the River Ping, but I might be wrong. And there's a very posh golf course in the distance. That looks absolutely gorgeous. One of the highlights of the golfing opportunities in northern Thailand for sure. And we are exactly 1 hour away from Chiang Mai, or that's what it says on my Google Maps anyway. As the cows are grazing, the morning light and the sun is rising, the fog and the morning dew is burning off here on this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous bridge. I absolutely love it here. Anyways, I've just texted my friends Flora and Note. They are in Chiang Mai, so I think I'm going to go and meet them for a coffee.
Where did you drive from?
Today I left from some national park, not far from here. Khun Tan National Park.
In the north still?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
an hour south.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know where Lamphun is?
Yeah.
Just that near there. It's always great to catch up with friends. Flora and Note are really good friends of mine and fellow content creators, and we don't really get to see each other as much as we'd like, but since we were all in the same place, we decided to grab coffee, a little bit of lunch, and just, catch up. No sauce, no grease.
You might find it too boring.
I had some time to kill before driving up to Chiang Dao, so I spent the time that I had in Chiang Mai Old City to tick off two of the things that I love to do most whenever I'm here. The first is eat some delicious khao soi, a local noodle dish here in northern Thailand. There are lots of places that I like to eat khao soi, but I came to Khun Yai as I think they do one of the most delicious versions of the dish, and it's very affordable. This family here have this restaurant and they cook up a storm, and their khao soi is absolutely delicious. Wow. soft chunks of beef, yellow noodles, and a delicious broth, just topped with a little bit of coconut milk, a squeeze of lime, and some freshly chopped onions and mustard greens. You cannot go wrong with a delicious bowl of warm khao soi when you're in Chiang Mai. And the most affordable Thai massage is in Chiang Mai. It's at this beautiful temple in the old city. I'll leave a link in the description. It's only 160 baht for an hour. And then it was time to drive the 75 kilometers all the way north to Chiang Dao and finish this epic road trip all the way from Bangkok to Chiang Dao itself. We made it. Chiang Dao is gorgeous, guys, and it's the beginning and the end point for our next Northern Thailand adventure, which I'll begin properly in next week's episode. But I wanted to document this beautiful drive all the way up from Bangkok to my hotel here in Chiang Dao. So this is one of those places that I saw on Instagram, like it was like a targeted ad, you know, there was a drone shot, there was pictures, it looked beautiful. I dived onto their page, looked great, and then found them on Booking and booked one night here. And they've got different types of accommodation. You've got like camping domes, those glamping domes. They've got little mini cottages at the front, and then this is one of the, I think they're called honeymoon suite or something like that, I might be wrong. This was the only one actually available because they get booked up ahead of time because they've got lots of good advertising, and it's the cool season, and people from Bangkok and people from all over Thailand love to come up to the mountains in the cooler months and gaze upon the beautiful mountain of Chiang Dao. However, when I got here, the only pet peeve I have, the only thing that I think is unforgivable is dirty rooms. Thailand is really good with immaculate linen, immaculate clean rooms. Even if you're paying 500, 600 baht, it might be a no frills room, but you'll be guaranteed it's spotless. And this one is really dirty, which I don't think is actually acceptable for the price. There are plastic forks with cake still stuck on the end, which would have been from breakfast, because you get like a free cake or something with breakfast. The bathtub's a bit dirty outside. There's plastic trash just all over the place out here. I mean, there's even like a really blatant piece of trash under the table. The windows, the table outside is dirty. They've even, you know, had a gardener in here today who's done all the bushes, but he hasn't cleaned up all the leaves. So it just looks really messy, really dirty. It feels sticky, it feels minging. Which is not great because, you know, 3 days on a motorbike, I was looking forward to a bit of pampering, and now I feel like I'm in a dirty hotel. Don't get me wrong, the grounds look incredible. They've got incredible landscaping, all the plants are in the best places, and it looks well kept. And I'm going to have a little wander around and see what other parts of the accommodation are, if there are any communal areas that we can mingle later with the Thais and maybe get around a campfire or something. But the room looked great on Instagram, but I'm just keeping it real with you guys. It's dirty, and I feel a bit gutted actually. Oh, that smells good. And as soon as I got in that hot bubbly water with the beautiful views of the mountains around me, I calmed down and really got into the flow of being up here in the north. And breathe. I hope you enjoyed this ride from Bangkok to the north. Things are going to get really scenic and even more beautiful in the next few episodes. So if you're new, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an adventure here in northern Thailand. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.